Yeah, I get a lot of questions from, and as you know, I'm ex-military, and I get a lot of questions from my ex and serving military friends about CBD, because they are a lot of them now tested, drugs tested on a regular basis, as are professional athletes. Clearly, there are athletes and people in the military that use CBD and various types of CBD. But I do get asked on a regular basis, is this something that could adversely show up on a random drugs test?
Well, a very good question, to be fair, John. A very good question, because we use whole plant in our tinctures. Now, our whole plant tinctures are fully compliant and are within the law. However, because we use whole plant, you have everything in there, and that includes compounds that are controlled. So the law states that we can't have any more than 1 milligram of THC in a bottle, and we make sure we don't. But there are traces in there, and this is the reason why it really works, because it's a whole plant extract. It's the whole caboodle. It's the full hit. It's everything. Now, for those that are particularly concerned about training, drugs testing, etc., who do not wish to have any THC at all in their system whatsoever, then Leafline can cater for that as well, because we also now do a range called Pure CBD, and that is exactly what it is. It's pure CBD. It's suspended in coconut-based MCT oil again, with natural terpenes and flavorings. Tastes great, and they're in quite high strengths, but there is no THC. It's pure. It's the pure CBD range. It's more of a sport range kind of thing, and those that are worried about drugs testing, etc. And that's why we brought that out. So while it doesn't have the whole plant extract in it with all those components all playing a part, playing the entourage effect, etc., this doesn't. This has a singular compound of pure CBD, and that's quite particular for those people that need it in those situations. They both have their jobs, they both do their jobs, but I honestly highly recommend, wherever you can, always go for the whole plant. If you can, always go for it.
Fantastic. Now, I think the reality of where we are in the world, most people, their anxiety levels have never been higher than they are today. With COVID, there seems to be no end to this. 6 months ago, we were led to believe that once the vaccine had arrived, that was our escape kit. But it would appear as time goes on, not only is that not the case, but actually some of these vaccines provide very, very limited resistance to anything. It's a very confusing world. In fact, they're even talking about now, which I'm sure you've heard, the mix and match syndrome. You can have this to start as your first jab, have that as your second.
Yeah. Although they haven't.
No, they haven't done the clinical trials, but they're talking.
No, absolutely. But of course, CBD. Nobody's going to talk about any medical specifications, what it can, what it can't do. But just on the mental side alone, and to help people, CBD oil can help to do that. It isn't going to cure COVID, and nobody's going to make any claims on that. But actually, to help people with their anxieties and some of the other issues that they have, then I know from friends that I've got that are using CBD, they tell me of the benefits, particularly ones that have been diagnosed with a long COVID.
Yes.
And they've obviously done their own research and found that actually CBD could be something that could help me in a number of ways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's a subject matter that we can't knowledgeably comment on, because obviously in the United Kingdom, you're probably very aware, the MHRA has made it very clear that that we can't make any medical claims with regard to CBD. But what I certainly can say is that outside of this country, especially if you look towards America and if you look towards Canada, they are spending so much time and money on research of what CBD can do, and they're discovering things on an hourly, minute by minute basis.
There's a new trial undergoing.
The study on COVID is finding as well. There's a study on COVID at the minute that's been bandied around everywhere that's stating, that's claiming that can actually prevent the respiratory side of COVID taking place in the lungs. There are other tests taking place that have found that taking CBD helps with the bioavailability of antibiotics, pharmaceutical antibiotics, that they help. But we can't say any of that. We can't state that. We can't do any of that because we're not allowed, because it hasn't. The trials haven't been taking place in the UK. So it's just one of those things. But anybody, you can't escape it now. It's nearly in every country around the world. Research is taking place, and it's fantastic.
And it's amazing, isn't it?
It's just amazing what they're discovering, but we can't talk about it.
But that doesn't matter. In 5 years' time, we'll be living in a completely different world when it comes to cannabis-based medicines. Yes, I believe in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing that we do know is that it's only for the good. There's nothing negative about CBD at all.
No.
That's the thing.
And it would appear, and certainly when you look at places like Holland and Barrett, that the population masses are looking for alternatives other than, getting drug suppressants from your GP, which people become highly addicted to. People are now looking for alternatives as part of a well-being for their lives. The thought of incorporating diet, exercise, and other natural products that will help them to basically take control of their own immune system and help them on their way. And there are a lot of people, we've got an aging population, and people want to preserve their lives and have a better standard of living as they get further on down in life. Nobody wants to work 40 hours plus a week and get to the age of 60. And actually you find that you've got so many aches and pains. You're almost in a wheelchair when you get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think everybody is looking towards.
And life is meant to be for living at the end of the day. And if we're not in a position to, when we've worked hard all our lives and we come to the end of it, well, we can't actually enjoy it. Well, you start to question it.
You do have to look after your body, though. You can't abuse it all the way through your 20s, 30s, and 40s and expect, if you take a bit of CBD in your 60s, you have to look after yourself. And like you say, people are looking to alternative therapies to, do that.
And the thing is, and what makes me laugh is as well, the amount of customers that we have that say, oh, well, I've just bought it at first just to see if it'd be a snake oil, because that's what I thought it was. But honestly, it's changed my life. And the person that said that over and over again, and okay, some people could frown on this, but I obviously use, over the years, I've used myself as a guinea pig, but my blessed mother, she has been, she is an absolute inspiration. In fact, to the point of where articles have been written about her. My mother turned 83 last month, 83 years of age. Probably 15 years ago, thereabouts, you could probably see that age was starting to hit her and she was slowing down, etc., and things like that. And probably 2.5 to 3 years ago now, it was getting pretty bad. She couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Her hair was falling out. Her complexion was terrible. Her diet was all over the place. She couldn't walk down the road properly. Her knee was giving her so much jip. She was suffering with osteoarthritis. Her fingers were all crunched up with nodules on them and all.
That sounds like me you're talking about. Are you sure you're talking about your mum?
Yeah, no chance, I tell you. But no, she poor woman, she was really suffering. She really was. And it goes without saying, obviously, that I started her off very, very slow. And she was very open to the idea of trying CBD. And we started the journey a little while ago. And in fact, in her own words, it's changed her life. She can walk quite briskly now. Her hands, her fingers are all straight. The nodules are still there. Nodules are still there from the arthritis, but she's not in pain anymore.
It's like
her
she's
her knee's fine.
Like oil put in her joints.
Yeah, her hair's grown back, her complexion's amazing, she's having a full night's sleep, and in her own words, it's given her a second chance of life. In fact, I'd urge you, John, to find the interview and have a little look and let people see it, because it's very interesting.
I will do, but you said something that really interested me, because 6 months ago, when I got up in the mornings, I used to have to exercise all my fingers. Now, my fingers were pretty much locked into positions, and they were so painful to get movement back in them in the mornings. And I know that a lot of that was down to martial arts for 50 odd years, and it takes its toll. But I don't even feel my fingers in the morning now. I have no aches, pains. I mean, I've been taking the oil on a regular basis now for 6 months.
Yeah.
And the things that it has done for me, that a lot of which I don't even think about it. And until you mentioned your mum having issues with her fingers, my fingers were like that 6 months ago. I used to get up in the morning. I couldn't even pick up a cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, this is
stretching and exercising my fingers.
Your body is meant to look after itself, because if you go back 20 years, 30 years ago, all these pains that you're feeling now, you never felt back then at all, and you weren't even aware of them. But as those pains and aches start to come in, what should be happening is our body adjusts to that and recognizes the fact that these pain signals are coming in. And then what the endocannabinoid system should be doing is modulating, controlling that pain, and basically allowing your body to deal with it, so it doesn't bother you in life. You can just crack on. And that's the idea of CBD, and that's what it gives the power to your body to do, to take care and modulate those sensations where it's acceptable and acceptable to your own body, so you can crack on with life. And that's the idea behind this. This is what CBD does. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, John. It's not something that you take that fixes a problem like paracetamol would do, or something on those lines. It's not a blood pressure tablet where it's going to bring the blood pressure down because it has an action specific for that. That's not what this is doing. What you're doing is you're taking CBD and you are fulfilling your endocannabinoid system so it can take care of your body like it should do in the first place. And that's what it is. So it's not pharmaceutical based drugs or anything like that at all. It's just a natural component of a plant, and that's the power of the plant, of what it can do. There's so much more potential out there, and I wish we could get the laboratory, get back into the laboratory and get in there and do more studies, etc., and things like that. But obviously, our hands are tied, because only certain people in this country are allowed to do some things like that, because our government will only issue licenses to those people in the pharmaceutical industry, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, we are limited, but there is so much out there. There is so much information out there, and I urge anyone who's listening to this to educate yourself. Do the reading, look into it, see the difference between a whole plant CBD tincture and an isolate-based tincture. Do the research, see the stories that are out there, read the stories that are out there about what's happening, and also, are there any negatives out there? If you can find them, then educate yourself, work it out, because I'm still trying to find a negative to any of this, and I can't. It works. It really
but
works.
I think, and as important as diet and exercise, CBD forms part of a whole well-being for people, and it's people taking the responsibility to look after themselves. There are people that they don't want to go down to the doctors because they know the sort of thing that they're going to be offered from the doctor. They want that, well-being that they can take control of. And it's all part of the personal journey to a better life, quite frankly, at the end of it. Now, you guys have got some other great products, as well as the oils. You've got some great products that you're working on and that you've got in your range of CBD. One is the Muscle Balm, which is a great product for me, and I found, especially getting thrown around a lot on the judo mat, it certainly works very, very well. I just smother myself from head to toe. Brilliant. But you've got a number of other products which you've got in the range as well.
Basically, what it is that we are covered with skin. And our skin is made up of just, well, cells. Thousands upon millions and billions of cells, and every single one of those cells, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's got receptors on them, which basically hemp reacts with. So it kind of makes sense, really, that if I was going to manufacture anything, I should make some form of cosmetics, because our skin just loves CBD, adores it, especially if it's a whole plant. Now, the muscle balm was actually one of the first products that we actually brought out, wasn't it?
Along with the skincare.
Yeah, along with the skincare oil as well. And there was a method to the madness on this one, because what we've made sure is that we've got tea tree and eucalyptus in the balm, because we want to draw the blood to the area. You know, we want to fulfill it, we want to warm it all up. And obviously, we've got CBD, but it's whole plant. It's not isolate CBD in any of our cosmetics. It's whole plant. It's the real deal. And like I say, your skin loves it. So if you don't have any blemishes, even, you know, or anything like that at all, you'll find that, well, it's a wonder balm. And the skincare oil, it clears things up amazingly well.
Because it's got the tea tree properties. The tea tree is really good for.
Okay.
So I tend to use it. I know it's sort of like an oily substance, but they're all oils that don't clog the pores.
Yeah.
So I've been using it on blemishes. So it's really versatile as well, you know, because we call it a muscle balm. It's not necessarily just for muscles. You know, Paul's mum uses it on her joints, you know, on her hands as well, on her fingers, and it really helps. My dad's using it on his knee at the moment, and it's reduced the swelling.
We've got lots and lots of athletes basically that have that in their bag full time. They just don't have, because they'll finish their workouts, for example, they'll finish the training, been on a long run, etc. They'll get in the shower, have a hot shower. They'll basically use the skincare oil first to apply it, because it smells absolutely amazing. And then what they'll do is they'll take the muscle balm and then coat those joints, etc. And then it carries on working for 1 to 2 hours afterwards, giving a nice tingle effect. But it's a fantastic bit of kit, and it's definitely, if you're into keeping fit, etc., it's definitely something you should consider to use alongside the inner therapy, if you like. So the muscle balm is your outer therapy, skin, etc. Your inner therapy are your tincture drops or sprays. So you're taking care of the inside and the outside all at the same time.
Can this help on, not that I have many myself, but any of the products in the range help with things like stretch marks or alleviating stretch marks?
Funnily enough, the skincare oil that we make, which is packed with 100 milligrams of CBD in, per 100 ml, that is, well, it's very, very, very powerful and so versatile. You can do so much with it. In fact, Sonia,
it's got vitamin E, which is really, really good for the skin. It moisturizes and does help. Well, I can't say.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say. But basically, it's really tough to say. But the whole plant extract that we use in that, it's CBD.
You've got the CBD
but inside that, you've got all the proteins. You've got all these amazing things that make it up. I mean, CBD in itself is almost anti-aging. It's so
That's
powerful.
What I was going to say. You've got your CBD, but then you've got all the other properties. You know, especially in the skincare oil, it's the vitamin E that is, you know, a wonderful compound in itself. But then you've got lavender, geranium, patchouli, and it's all of them working together. They all have these natural properties that are just so good for the skin, hydrating. Again, we've used MCT, fractionated coconut oil, because it's non-common. I can never say that word. Non-clogging. So it doesn't clog your pores. You can even use it on your face as well as your body. You could use it as a bath oil because it's got lavender in it.
You can use it as a massage oil. Just add a bit of a more longer oil, if you like, a jojoba oil or something like that. Use it as a long massage, or just as it is as a short massage. But the point is that it's such a versatile oil, and it can do so much. You mentioned stretch marks. Obviously, we can't say anything. But
reading between the lines, vitamin E, you know, it is used in lots of products that claim that they the stretch marks.
And also, you've got to bear in mind as well that CBD is an incredibly powerful anti-sebum. And what I mean by that is that if our skin well, I'm not really meant to say that, but it is. Sorry. A study in America found that CBD was an incredibly potent anti-sebum. And what that means is if you have a particular skin that overproduces oil, then you're going to get spots. You know, you're going to have cell, etc. You're going to have issues, but this stops it all from happening. This really calms things down.
It regulates.
It regulates. And this is, again, there's that word regulate. It's all about balance. So if your body has an imbalance in any way, then I would like to think anyway, and I would like to hope that CBD can certainly help with getting you on your way to where you need to be, to retaining back to a balanced lifestyle again. And that's what this is about, balance.